Now, we here have a symbol of evangelical Christianity. Evangelical Christianity. This is again from Vox, how Bible prophecy shapes Trump's foreign policy. Again, how a Bible prophecy shapes Trump's foreign policy. Now, sadly, the reason why we're going through this is because there are so many evangelical Christians here in the United States, and possibly even maybe some who consider themselves to be remnant believers, believing in the three angels' messages of Revelation 14 rather, are believing that the Jews to some degree, or even a great degree, are still God's chosen people. Now, again, getting to the point, it says, AOC says anti-Semitic Christian fundamentalism in the U.S. is partially to blame for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And that's very true. That is very, very true. Now, notice this statement from this very powerful source. Notice this. Notice this. This is taken from the book called Antichrist and His 10 Kingdoms. This says Reverend G.S. Hitchcock, doctor of sacred scripture in Rome, in his pamphlet, The Beast and the Little Horn, on page 7 says, the futurist school, founded by the Jesuit Ribera in 1591, looks for Antichrist Babylon and a rebuilt temple in Jerusalem at the end of the Christian dispensation. Now we're going to seek to go through this in detail as we move on with this session for today. But the main reason why so many evangelical Christians, if not all of them, attach prophetic significance to the modern state of Israel is as a result of the influence of futurism that was started by the Jesuit organization in 1591. And continuing on our screen, this is a gentleman by the name of Albert Pike. He was a very high-ranking Freemason around the turn of the 20th century. Notice what this man says as it relates to this Israel and Palestinian conflict. This says the Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. Meanwhile, the other, in the middle, it says the war must be conducted in such a way that Islam and political Zionism mutually destroy each other. Now, mind you, it is fascinating to read this because these statements were written before the 20th century. I believe it was the 1870s. Now, the question is, how is it that Albert Pike, well over 100 years ago, understood exactly what was going to be taking place in this day and age? Now, again, the question has to be asked. We wonder if everything that we see taking place in the Middle East, especially with this current conflict, was planned well before these events took place. Now, in light of that, notice this statement from the book, The Great Controversy. This says, Satan delights in war. I'll read it again. Satan delights in war, for it excites the worst passions of the soul and then sweeps into eternity its victims steeped in vice and blood. It says it is his object, speaking of Satan, to incite the nations to war against one another, for he can thus divert the minds of the people from the work of preparation to stand in the day of God. And again, dear friends, this is one of the things that we really need to understand as it relates to these issues, especially as it relates to war, that Satan is constantly trying to get us as human beings not to be focused upon the work of preparing for Christ's second coming. And anything that Satan can use to distract us from this great work of preparation, Satan will do it. And war is one of the great mechanisms that he loves to use.